going on YouTube? It's Blundzilla Video with a quick little vlog slash movies that you need to fucking watch. So over the weekend I watched 7 movies, which is insane because of school and shit. I wasn't watching a lot of movies and stuff, but now like I went nuts over the weekend. I watched, like I said, 7 fucking movies. Some of them are some of the coolest movies I've ever fucking seen. So that's a bonus. First movie I want to talk about real fast, The Exterminator. Holy shit. If you like Death Wish, if you've ever heard of Death Wish, or if you've never seen Death Wish, but you've seen Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon, you like that, watch The Exterminator from 1980 with Robert Ginty. Very good film. It's a Vietnam vet and his buddy, they get into some exploits, and it's basically a revenge film. It's a Death Wish type film. It's amazing. And there's a sequel as well. That's why I didn't want to get too involved in discussing these movies, because they're kind of all a blur, and a lot of these movies I'm going to talk about are anthologies, so it's just like a fucking Slurpee of all these stories in my head. But Exterminator 2 has Melvin Van Peebles' son, as the gang leader. And interesting enough, this is like a little piece of trivia my uncle told me last night. Apparently, Mario Van Peebles designed everything that he wore in that movie, which is kind of cool, because he wore some cool shit. It was kind of Death Wish 3-ish in a way. I'm pretty sure in Death Wish 3 they had like an X on their face as well. Thing that's cool to point out about Exterminator 1 is the gang is called the Ghetto Ghouls. And in part 2, the gang's called X. And I was like, it's not as cool as Ghetto Ghouls. And they have like jackets with the patches and all that shit. Really, really entertaining movies. So they're on YouTube, Exterminator and Exterminator 2. Definitely give those a watch. You got no excuse, really. They're on YouTube, for fuck's sake. So the next batch of movies I'm going to talk about, I don't think are on YouTube, but you might have to either buy them or find them in some sleazy way. You know how people are. But these are all Amicus anthology films. The first one is Asylum. So Asylum, the framing device, or like kind of overarching story, is about this doctor going to this asylum, and he's going to try to get the job of, like, you know, taking it over or whatever. And his task is to interview like these 4 patients and kind of diagnose them or whatever. And you find out, they go through these patients and you get all these crazy stories. There's a really good story with Peter Cushing with he's like a kind of just like a strange type guy, and he goes to this tailor who owes like the mob money, or he owes money on his rent or some shit. And basically Peter Cushing comes and he's like, listen, I need this suit done, give you 200 pounds. And of course the guy's like, fuck yeah. So the suit that's being made is made out of this fucked up material that like glows. And this movie's in like 1972 or some shit, so you gotta imagine like this glowing material. And I don't want to say anything more than that. Like, that's one of my favorite stories from that one. There's another really good one involving a guy that, you know, kills his wife. And I am gonna spoil this one, unfortunately, because it's too fucking good not to talk about. Basically, this guy cuts up his wife and then wraps her like pieces of meat and puts her in the freezer. And then he starts having these fucking hallucinations of like the pieces of body like coming after him, and like this head that's wrapped up like a fucking ham steak or whatever rolling down the hallway. And it's good. Like, the effects are great for 72. I think it's 72 or 73, but you know, really good. There's 2 other stories. One that's kind of like a puppet mastery style film, where this guy, he kind of like possesses this puppet that he's made. And that one, it was okay, but the one I love the one with the wrapped up body parts. That was so fucking cool. The next film was Vault of Horror, which is the sequel to Tales from the Crypt, which of course is based on the EC comics, which are fantastic. Which I have a bunch of those. I should show those in a video eventually. But this one was really cool. The framing device was like these 5 guys get into an elevator, and the elevator goes all the way to the basement, and there's no exit. And they all just, like, it was funny to me because these guys are just like, oh, well, I guess we'll have to wait. And there's like all this booze, so they just start boozing and shit and telling their dreams. And the stick-out story to me was there was this guy who was a painter, and he goes to like this voodoo fucker, and basically the voodoo guy enables this painter. Anything that he paints, he can destroy by destroying the painting. So if let's say he paints a fucking caterpillar, and then he destroys the caterpillar painting, then that caterpillar will actually die. But it doesn't always die like in the same way. It's kind of like it's always different. Like the guy, this isn't exactly what happened, but let's say you light the picture on fire. The guy might not physically spontaneously combust. He might like fucking fall into a deep fryer or some shit. You know what I mean? Vault of Horror was a really good one. I don't really remember the rest of the stories. There was a really good one, I think, with like a vampire kind of thing, where this guy, he goes to like find his sister and ends up in this shitty little town, and it's all full of vampires, and you don't know that till the end. And there's a really cool shot at the end where the guy's getting his neck drained with like a tap, like a keg tap, and the blood's just coming out, and like this one blood drunken dude is just filling these cups with blood. It's unreal. But Vault of Horror, I don't think it's as memorable to me as Tales from the Crypt, because I remember all the Tales from the Crypt, well, for the most part, but it was definitely a worthy sequel. And you can't go wrong with these anthology films, because even if, like, I'm not saying they are, but let's say four of them are shit, you're gonna get a really good one, or, you know, 3 of them are shit. They're all good, so give these fucking flicks a check out. And also, the final one that's the anthology, I don't know if this is Amicus, but I'm pretty sure it could be. It's called From Beyond the Grave. And I think it has the coolest framing device. It's basically Peter Cushing again. He's in all these fucking movies. He's an OG. He's in all the Hammer films, all the Amicus films. Like, he's all over the place. He's in fucking Star Wars. Like, he's in a lot of shit, Peter Cushing. But he owns a pawn shop, and the stories come from these items in the pawn shop. Like, there's these like valor medals, you know what I mean, like Medal of Honor kind of thing. There's a giant wooden door. There's a little snuff box. Snuff is like this shit that like rich types would like. It's like snuff. It was like, I think it was like a form of tobacco or something like that, but they would like sniff it or some shit. I don't really know what it is, but. And then the final one was about, I believe, shit, I don't remember, but it was a really good one, From Beyond the Grave. The one with the mirror, I don't know if I mentioned a mirror, but there was one with a mirror, and it has the dude from The Omen. I don't remember who he was in The Omen, but I know it was a dude from The Omen. And he's also in Titanic as like the henchman. That's the only way I can describe that guy, but really entertaining film. Another really good one that we watched was, Combat Shock. Holy shit, Combat Shock. This is a movie about a Vietnam vet. You're seeing a bit of a theme here. And it's kind of like a taxi driver. It says on the cover of the film, like, taxi driver meets Eraserhead, and that's a good way to describe it, because it's fucking weird, and it's ruthless, and it's awesome. It's put out by Troma, but it's not a Troma film. And like, the rights were acquired by Troma and then distributed, kind of thing. But highly entertaining film. Kind of depressing, but lots of cool action. Apparently they filmed some of that shit in the guy's backyard. Like, it's so cool to me, because like, being like a person that like makes short films and shit, like any kind of like juicy special features, which there are tons of on the Combat Shock DVD, like, you see a bunch of cool shit. And I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. If you want to see some cool special features, watch the special features of The Raid 2. Holy fuck, mind-blowing shit. Very groovy stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on a couple of movies. I don't think I mentioned all of them that I watched, but yeah, thanks for watching. Adios. My phone doesn't fall here.